Welcome to the Digital Growth Hack Club, where we help you elevate your business and your bottom line. Here is your host, Jenny Jones.
Hey, this is Jenny Jones, Digital Growth Hacks Club. Hey, listen, it's been a while, I had some time here, but you guys know I only try to bring you the most unique tools that are out there, and I found a diamond in the rough. Today, I'm sitting with Mr. Lux Narayan here of StreamAlive, and I want to spend a few moments with him, kind of learn a little bit more about his tool. This is a game-changing tool, and every now and then I'll run across a tool that grabs my attention and says, "Hey, I need to know where did this come from." So I want him to come in his own way, kind of give us maybe like a 1-minute elevator pitch of what StreamAlive is about. And we're going to just go under the hood a little bit and find out a little bit more about him and the company. And we'll just go from there. So take it away, Mr. Lux. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Jenny. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So tell us a little bit about, StreamAlive and kind of get us excited about what's going on. Why are you so excited? Well, what is it? What is StreamAlive?
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally excited about it because I've been a serial entrepreneur for about 17 years now. And prior to that, I had a career in advertising. So I think I've been presenting for a living, so to speak, across, a couple of decades now. And so building something in this space to help presenters literally become performers, to help audiences become participants is obviously something very, very exciting. And there's an expression about founders eating their own dog food, and I use StreamAlive every single day for presentations. And therefore, I'm a number one beta tester and number one customer support executive because nobody uses the product as much as me and my co-founders do. And that excites you, right? Because you're building and refining something that you're using every single day, and you can see the value. And then when we have conversations like the one we're having, and after you discovered the tool, where people love it and say, "Oh my God, this is fantastic." Those are really good moments.
Yeah, no, and when I got my hands on the tool, I was like, wait a minute, what is this? What are we doing? Right. And there's been attempts at doing different things. But when I got my hand on the tool, and if you want to see a quick video on it, you can probably look up top, and I'll probably post a quick video. You'll probably see it right here. And I will put a demo of it below. And I'll also be a code in there. Maybe it's right. Maybe you get an opportunity to get it on a lifetime deal. Maybe it's gone, or maybe you'll still be able to get it. Maybe an affiliate link or something, but it'll be something below. If you're looking at this interview now, you'll be able to get your hands on this tool. So when I got my hands on the tool, I looked at it. One of the things I noticed is it's called StreamAlive, but it also works with Zoom, and sometimes it worked with Zoom in a streaming fashion, but then it worked in a regular presentation fashion. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Or it's called StreamAlive, but you can kind of use it in a little hybrid mix there. Can you say me a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. And actually, Jenny, with your permission, I'll dive a little deeper into why we built StreamAlive in the first place, because it was cool. So like I said, I've been a serial entrepreneur for some time now, and me and my co-founders, who are also my co-founders in the previous company, we were previously running a company called Unmetric. And Unmetric is a social media benchmarking company in the analytics space, and that company got acquired in the end of 2019.
Right.
2020, for various personal reasons in the family, plus after acquisition and transition, all that stuff, I decided to take a break.
Right.
And during that break, I indulged in this pet project, and I just pulled up a copy to show it to you. I wrote this book called Name, Place, Animal, Thing.
Oh, okay.
And this was a big pet project of mine at that time. Became an Amazon bestseller as well. It's I think it's got a 4.8 star rating on Amazon and stuff. But the reason I'm gonna have to pick
that up, and we'll put a link below. But I'm gonna have to pick that up. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
Thank you. Hey, no worries. But here's the thing, right? I didn't know the first thing about writing a book or how to market a book, so I binged on a whole bunch of classes on how to write a book, how to edit a book, how to market a book, how to get Amazon to bless your book, and all of those things.
Right.
And these were delivered over, about 6 different classes, delivered over 56 different live streams.
Right.
So these were on Zoom meetings, on Zoom webinars. These were on YouTube Live, Google Meet, and Facebook Live.
Okay.
Classes were as little as 10 students and as much as 1,100 students for the Amazon marketing class.
Okay.
Right. And I saw three patterns. The first is when you have a YouTube class with thousands of students, the chat flies by faster than the eye can see, and the presenter does not have a clue what is happening. And anyone who's attended a popular live stream has seen that, right?
Absolutely. That's 100% a fact. But go ahead. Yeah.
Exactly, right? And then there is the other extreme where you got 10 students in a class or something, and the presenter wishes that something would move in the chat because no one's responding. I mean, he or she is asking a question and no one wants to be that person who raises their hands and get picked on.
Right. So,
and then there is a middle, which is say a few, maybe 50 or 100 or 200 people in a class, and a typical icebreaker like, hey, where are you joining us from?
Right.
And then maybe 50 people enthusiastically respond and they say, all right, Jenny is joining us from California and Lux is joining us from Shillong in the Himalayas. And then they ignore the remaining 48 people.
That's right.
Which to me was, and I'm sure you've seen that as well, where the questions, but the answers, exactly, right? Or in a few cases, people would be asked to engage, but they would have to scan a QR code, go to a different website and just enter a whole bunch of things just to tell you what they ate for breakfast, right?
Yes.
So two things were very obvious. One is the audience was not being included. The second is that in cases where there was attempts to make the audience included, it was like browser gymnastics. They had to jump through a whole bunch of hoops and just like that. So our fundamental insight was, instead of asking people to go to a product, we should get the product to the people. So if you're in a Zoom room like we are in now, StreamAlive should join the Zoom room. And as you know, it can do that. Read the chat so that if I ask a question like, hey, where's everybody joining from? Everybody in the room should be able to type their location and say hi from Miami or whatever in the chat. The intelligent bot should read that, extract locations, map it within 1/4 of a second, and show a real-time map that's popping and lighting up like a Christmas tree to show where people are joining from, right? That's just one example. But we just said, just like in a physical room, people can raise their hand and you can figure out, oh, okay, 3/4 of the audience thinks this is a great idea. What can the eyeball in terms of visual audience interactions to give the audience a collective voice, like a map? And you're familiar with some of the other features, and I'm happy to dive into them. But there's a whole library of visual interactions which can give the audience a voice and make them included. So we started off with YouTube Live, just plugging into YouTube so that a presenter or a streamer can kind of start using the live chat on YouTube, and their audience can just type in the YouTube live chat and StreamAlive does all the heavy lifting.
Sure.
Then we did it for Microsoft Teams and then Zoom. And now we've got requests for pretty much every single major platform out there. I mean, all the major Hopin and AirMeet and Goldcast and Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, Twitch. We're going to be very busy.
And that was the exciting part about it, because I think you shared with someone asked you, hey, are you guys going to do WebEx? You're like, yeah, sure. If enough people want it, we'll start working on that one next, and then whatever happened next. But one of these, I haven't been this excited about a tool in a long time. Like every now and then, there's a tool that comes along and says, I have not seen that before, which I can appreciate it. But not only have I not seen it before, it's very beneficial. It's not something that now I got to figure out, does it fit my tech stack? Should I pay for it to fit in my tech stack? Because that's been the thing, right? We're kind of in a mini quote unquote recession, if you will, here in the US. And people are trying to see, do I really need StreamAlive? And I got to tell you, that's why I kind of put the video together. I was like, I don't think the people know about it. And I seen it. I said, I don't think people really know what they have here, because what it does, it makes the room alive. And what I like about it, I think it's Wonder Words is one of the interactions that you guys have, is when you get people, you says, hey, you know what, tell me a good SaaS tool that everybody's using right now, or you ask the audience, because what now you're doing is you're engaging, you're invoking, and then as people see that, they want to participate more, and they start peppering up. I mean, in the video I did that, and it starts peppering up all these different ideas, and it invokes collaboration with the room. You start saying, oh, okay, so who else is using StreamAlive? Tell me about that, right? How's that working out for you? And then someone else may chime in, they may say something, and so on and so forth. So that's what I thought was very unique about it as well. So listen, so what do you see? I mean, because you guys have you have a couple of interactions right now. So I think you have about 7 interactions. Where do you think, even as far as on your development side, right? Because some people have a large team, some people have a small team. I don't want to get into your team size and all of that just yet. You may not feel comfortable in sharing that, but at least as far as from a developmental side, as far as filling out a roadmap, how long do you think it takes? It's like, man, people want to add WebEx. How long would something like that, if I said, hey, you know what, here's an integration, how long would something like that take with your team size and all that, if you wanted to integrate that?
Right. So at this point, I mean, I'm happy to share. We're a team of about 14 people at this point.
Okay.
And it's always multiple vectors on which the dev team is working, right? So one of the vectors is very obviously what you said, which is platforms. Which other platform can you integrate with? Because if our fundamental premise is making it frictionless, we need to integrate with each, and each one is a different approach. With Zoom, it's a bot. With Teams, it's attached to the Teams chat. With YouTube, it's attached to the video chat and a different API together. So each one is a different engineering challenge with its own queuing challenges and other things that can happen, and each new library of things that can go wrong, right?
Right.
So on an average, from building it out to testing it to finding bugs and then retesting and stuff, it takes about roughly 2 months to build it out for a single platform. So as we build out the team and stuff, we're going to have multiple teams concurrently working on different platforms. So platforms is one axis on which you're going. The second axis is interactions, and you touched upon that as well. The product, as you know, has 4 modules to it. It's plan engagement, track engagement, increase engagement, and analyze engagement, right? So the plan is kind of where you say, okay, I want to put my slides and my interactions together. I want to first show this hello slide and then ask people where they're joining from. And then I want to show 3 slides about my product. And then I want to say, okay, which of these are you most interested in? And then I want to show a demo and say, what do you think you would use the most? So it's a fundamental shift. We're trying to get people to, stop talking so much and start listening a lot more.
Right.
And to move away from just slides into slides plus interaction. So that is the plan part. Track is something, think of it as a fly on the wall, where StreamAlive is listening to the track, to the chat at all times. And you've seen the feature with questions, right? Where it's able to automatically.
Yeah, I thought that was very different. And I'm going to do another video I'm going to do a deeper video on this that even showcase. I think even you see the video that I did on it, I don't even think I may have touched the surface of maybe 40% of it. I think there's a whole nother thing, like the questions, like how the bot is listening for questions. So you can start off a presentation saying, hey, I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions. You're going to have questions throughout. In order to keep the presentation smooth and flowing, just dump your questions into the chat. I'm going to cover them all at the end. And more than likely, if I miss your question, or for some reason, if the bot, you don't say that if the bot misses, but for some reason, if the bot misses it, I'm going to probably get about 98% to 99% of the questions that people may have. And by just clicking on the question button, and then it lists all the questions as they came in. That is a fabulous feature. How did you guys that? Because that happens a lot. That's probably in presentations. You say, man, why don't we create a question? What was your thinking behind that? That is genius, by the way.
Thank you. And I'd love to take the credit for that. But honestly, it was those 56 live streams I attended where 50% of the questions were dropped. And that's exactly what happened. And you
don't even get all the questions. People have questions.
Exactly.
You don't even get, it's too many. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Except for the big classes where the presenter would have an assistant or an intern whose job it was to keep taking the questions and putting it in a Notion or a Google Doc or something. And then they would go to that Google Doc at the end, which to us was like, okay, I mean, we're talking AI writing entire poetry right now. So why can't an AI actually interpret a question? Because there is a different intonation for a question. And that's where experience comes in a way, because our previous company, Unmetric, did a lot of NLP and natural language processing to derive meaning from large data sets. So we applied some of the learnings from there and to look at the chat, and people are saying what they had for breakfast, like they're saying, sausages, pancakes, eggs, whatever, fruit. And then they're saying where they're joining from, Miami, LA, NYC. And then they're saying, is this being recorded? Now, the quick questions feature will ignore the sandwiches and the food and the locations and go to the, is this being recorded? And say, that's a question, because it doesn't sound like a city. It doesn't sound like a food. It's a question. And we think that's powerful. People love that feature. So I'm glad you
Man,
mentioned that specifically.
that feature is unbelievable. I hate that I couldn't when I'm doing the demo, right? Because I wanted to get a video up so people can kind of get it. I says, hey, I discovered what people notice that they always notice on digital growth hacks is if I find a jewel, if I find a SaaS tool that no one's talking about, no one's seeing, I kind of want to be the first one to break the news. And I think a lot of people, and they can probably comment below this video, they will tell you, I will find those tools. There's tools come out every day, but there's those certain tools they will honestly admit to you, says, yeah, if it's a tool that's really good and different, Jenny's going to find it. And I want to kind of be the first one to bring it to people. So, but I didn't get a chance to bring that feature out. And that's a very good feature. I'm definitely going to show that. I'm going to do another video on this probably in the next week or so. And I'm going to unpack some more of it so people can see. That is a very powerful tool. So tell me, so what you're saying is you had pain points in doing an interview. I mean, and going to all these, you're like, wait a minute, it's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. And so that's why you guys came up with it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just saying, and then we saw some of the obvious ones, which is like, they all ask this icebreaker question of where you're joining from, but don't do anything with it.
Right.
And here's the thing, you mentioned it a little while back. You said it makes the room alive and makes people want to participate.
Sure.
And there's a very powerful human emotion that happens. For example, let's take the map, right? I would never answer that question of where you're joining from because I'm like, who cares?
Right.
Okay. However, if I'm based out of Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and if I'm there and I'm in a session and people start mentioning their locations and the East Coast is looking naked because nobody has put a dot out there, I almost feel it's my duty, my online duty to type New York City or New Jersey and have a little dot come up there to show that, hey, I'm here in this little place, right? Oh. So it makes the room alive in a very interesting way, when people know that they're being acknowledged, even if it's for a few microseconds. It's a very powerful thing that happens in people's minds where you say, okay, you are actually listening to me, so I'm a little more comfortable participating because I know I'm not going to be ignored. So that's why our pitch is, move your live sessions from 99% ignored to 99% engaged, right?
That is awesome. So one of the things I did learn in presenting, right? It's funny when we went into COVID, it's not funny, but you found yourself presenting a lot more, right? And one of the things I learned, I'm not going to take credit for this, and I probably learned it from going to one of Russell Brunson, CEO of ClickFunnels. I probably learned it from one of his classes, and he said that you learn more from the questions that people ask. Because if you're constantly answering the questions, like let's say you're going to offer, you have an offer that you're doing a webinar and you're going to bring people to an offer and a close. You learn more from the questions because the questions teach you how to overcome the objections that people may have in your offer. So if you're doing your presentation, right, you're doing your presentation, you say, hey, you can ask any questions. So as I'm doing my presentation, I'm trying to tell you about this widget that I want to get you to invest in, or I want you to purchase a coaching program from me. As the questions come up, every time you have the webinar or the seminar, if you answer every single one of those questions, the next webinar, you have less amount of those questions because you've already answered them in your presentation. Right. So it overcomes all the objections. Someone said, well, hey, what is the price? I already talked about the price in the earlier slide, but every time you do it, and you do it like after 6 or 7 times, there are 0 objections. Why would you not buy today? And I think by you having people ask their questions and then able to analyze them later from using your tool, you can see all the questions people ask. You can perfect and fine tune your presentation. Was that a good thought process going into that? Or if not, then it's definitely a tool you should have. StreamAlive.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I think you put it perfectly in terms of, you do all of these things and then you analyze what happened, what worked. You look at it because people give intent signals all the time, right? So for example, if I'm selling a book coaching workshop,
right.
And I ask people a question like, all right, here are 4 options. There's a poll on the screen. Option 1 is, when are you planning to write your book? Next month, next 3 months, next year? I don't know.
Right.
And then after that, when I go back and look at the results, if I have a sales team, I obviously want to focus on the people who entered 1 and 2, because the person who says I don't know is probably not very low hanging fruit. So there's a lot of interesting intent signals that come out as well. And the whole idea is it's like a circle, right? You plan, you track your engagement, you increase your engagement, and then you analyze your engagement, figure out what worked and what didn't, and use that to refine it. Learn from the questions, like you said, that people asked, cover those as objection handling for your next slide, and then you plan better for the next one. So the analyze actually feeds into like a circle. It comes back into planning, because next time around you have data to say this worked and this
That's
didn't.
right.
And dial this up and dial
and
this
it's
less,
not
right?
it's not data you're thinking, it's data that you can actually see, and you're going to get honest participation because people are participating. Now they're participating, you're not forcing people to participate. I did a workshop for a chamber last summer, and it was like pulling teeth because people were so engaged, and they didn't really know what questions to ask. And then I started engaging with them more. I says, well, would the asset side of the balance sheet make better sense, or would the liability side make? And I'm trying to do this check and response, and people are all over the place. And I just thinking how a tool like this would have been very good. That leads me to, as we kind of close, it leads me to one of the interactions you have, the transit. It's called transit thoughts, right? When I saw that, I almost fell out of my seat. So others haven't seen it, right? If you haven't had this tool, you got to test it out. At least I think they have a free version. You can kind of download it for free and test it out. If not, there is a price below. So we got some kind of deal below is going to be there. I don't know, but you can click on the link and check it out for yourself. But tell me about transit thoughts. What, first of all, what is it? Because I want you to explain to the audience. I've seen it, but what is it and how can it help in a presentation that you're doing?
Got it.
Yeah.
So we started off with, for the increased engagement, we started off with a portfolio of the very obvious ones. So polls and word clouds are kind of there. We said, how do we make it better, right?
Right.
So for example, yesterday I was talking to a YouTuber who saw our polls and said, this is way better than what YouTube polls is itself, and he's using us for all his live stream polls.
Right.
Then we built out the map, and then we started building out all of these features and having people use it. So over the last year, we're more than a year old. We've been spending the better part of the year perfecting the product by having teachers, preachers, sellers, entertainers, everybody use it and tell us what
teachers,
they like,
preachers, sellers, entertainers. Wow, put those people in a room. Okay, so go ahead. So part of your testing. So part of your testing was to get all these. Yeah. Okay.
Different kind of ideal customer profiles, right? ICPs, and the person on Zoom is different from the person on Teams is different from the CEO running a town hall is different from the YouTube live streamer who wants to show you his latest game. Right. So we got a lot of feedback, and there were people using the word cloud for instances like the one you described, where someone would ask a question, what's your favorite software or SaaS platform? Right. And hopefully a lot of people are saying StreamAlive out there. You're seeing different software names.
You keep seeing StreamAlive pop up.
Beautiful, right? And then someone broke it because they asked the question like, what's your New Year resolution, or what do you want to do that's different next quarter or something like that? And people started writing full-fledged sentences. And those sentences would be broken up into words by the word cloud, and it would look like someone just mutilated an entire sentence, right? Right. So it got us thinking, saying the word cloud is great if you have a one-word answer or you have a two-word answer, but what if you have a one-sentence or a one-paragraph answer? Like I teach you a skill and I say, okay, I've taught you 5 skills today. Which of these are you going to implement, and how are you going to do it? Tell me a sentence about what you're going to do next, right? Or I teach you stand-up comedy and I say, all right, what kind of comedy set are you going to do next? And what is the main piece that you're going to talk about over there? That's not a word or two, that's a sentence. Right. So we said, is there a way to have people throw sentences at the presenter and still capture all of it? Because right now it's just a scrolling chat that you can't see. So, we went if you go to a theater play or something in Broadway, for example, before you go into the play, you're sitting at the bar and you hear all these, and that's exactly what happened actually. You hear all these different thoughts and people, you hear conversations of different people around you. You can't catch everything. You don't catch it until it just comes and drifts and goes and stuff, right? So we said, okay, can we capture that visually? Can you get a thought blurb saying, this guy is saying this, then the next person, it stays for as long as it needs to give the next little blurb some space. If it's a longer sentence, it stays for a little longer because you need more time to read it. Read it. Emulate the listening in the lobby of a theater in a visual sense.
Genius. Because now I'm getting it. Because when I see it, it's like these thoughts, right? It's like, It's like, tell me what you're thinking. You can ask a question. Tell me what you're thinking right now. Give me your thought right now. And someone's like, I wish I was at home in bed, sleep, right? And then another thought comes up and says, man, I wish I had a smoothie, double size latte over. He's getting all these thoughts. And everyone's now they're wanting to participate in the conversation because it's like, I want to see my thought come up. I want everybody to see what I'm thinking right now. This is freaking genius. I'm telling you this. Listen, I have a lot of people. I've met a lot of SaaS founders. I own a lot of SaaS tools. Anyone that knows me, I know I own a lot. And my wife gets on me. She says, you're getting another tool? I'm like, yes, honey, but this one does this one. And this one does that one. But every now and then a tool comes along. There's some tools they say in a family, like, oh, there's an AI tool. These are AI writers, right? I got about 10 of those, right? Each one of them does a little something different, right? And then there's another tool. Oh, this is something, it does that and does that. But then this tool comes like, wait, so you do this? And what I got from it, I got the vision of being in a room trying to prompt people. And I remember, like I said, where I really struggled when I did this, I teach a lot, but it was one particular class that I got no interaction from. And it's like, man, I just need to, do I blow a loud horn or do I do something? And I just know this tool would have helped me do that because the transient thought, the transit thoughts would have helped. And you put these little clouds up on a screen of what people are thinking, that's amazing. So I kind of want to close it out with go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just about to say I know you wear a lot of hats. I mean, you obviously love founders and startups and software, and you're an absolute geek at heart. And you also have a finance hat and you have a marketing hat.
Me wear a lot of hats.
Worlds you inhabit.
I do. I wear a lot of hats. I do.
So I do. This can, I'm sure you can see it getting life in all of those different scenarios. When you're running a class on finance and you're talking to a bunch of entrepreneurs,
yes,
something on marketing, and that's exactly the intent.
I did this one class. It's called it's with this the statement of cash flows, right? We ran through all these different ideas. I says, your money, you have to have cash. Is just the lifeline of your business. And why is that the lifeline of your business? And different people are giving these different reasons and all. So again, that would have been great to capture because then my next presentation, I could have incorporated some things into it. So now I'm just helping it. That's why when I saw your tool, I said, man, wait a minute. If this tool if it can do what I think it can do, we're going to be in some business here. So I really appreciate it. And I hate to keep gushing over your tool, but I've never seen it before. And I love it. I only hope that it gets better. And I've put down some ideas already I thought you guys could probably look into, but I'm not going to get into that now. But let's talk about the choice circle.
Thank you for that, though. I saw that. Thank you for that.
You saw that? Yeah.
The ideas
hey, listen. I'm a marketer, man. So I know where this can go next. And I seen someone add the whole CTA and additional links to take them to landing pages and close them. I seen someone add that to the tool. Boom. Right. And I seen someone actually do that. And that's why I thought the idea would work very well with you. But as we kind of close out, I want to talk about one of the interactions. So let me cover this. I just want to explain and set this up for people because they kind of don't know what we're talking about. And like I haven't did that other video on that. But you can actually prepare your PowerPoint presentation. And you can upload that PowerPoint presentation into StreamAlive and then run your interactions in between your PowerPoint slides. Brilliant idea. Just so you guys know that if you see that, and I haven't even demoed that, but if you see that, that's gonna put icing on the cake, right? Any professional speaker, instructor, teacher, preacher will see it and get it, right? If you sometimes do this, sometimes even a streamer, my kids that didn't play those video games or whatever, even if they're streaming, they could even do that if they wanted to as well, just to capture thoughts and how they want to grow their business. But I want to close out with that choice circle and how it's used. I know when you showed it to me, I know how I can use it, but let's set that up as we kind of bring this to a close and you want to make an offer to me. Show me how that would look, right? Because that's kind of where that's the idea you gave me. You can use it in other areas, but let's talk about that. So now we're going to close out the presentation. How would the choice circle help? with that?
Yeah. And so the choice circle is that it's a basic spinner, which basically gamifies the entire session.
Right, gamify, like a Wheel of Fortune wheel. Okay, yeah.
Like a little fortune wheel. And
Yeah.
there's a child inside all of us, right? Which likes to see that wheel spin faster and then
Absolutely.
slow down. And be
Absolutely.
like, oh my God, where's it going to stop? I think it's going to stop here. Oh, no, it's missed that. Where's it going to stop? That little kiddiness is kind of awoken when something like that happens. So we've seen people use it in some crazy ways. I'll tell you two. One is where, let's say I'm running a webinar, and at the end of it, just because you've been such an awesome audience, I want to give an offer, and I have three classic offers, either 10% off or 3 months on or a free onboarding session. I put those as three choices, spin the wheel, and it ends on one of them. And let's say it ends on the free onboarding session. I say, okay, everybody here, you get a free onboarding session for just being so participative today, right? And it's something that everyone's been a part of as it spins. Now, here's the thing, Jenny. We look at these as a canvas that we've created, and people do some crazy things. So we had a teacher, a professor in one of the best B schools in India.
Sure.
And he had a case study happening, and he had 8 groups, and he didn't know which group should present first. So he took the choice circle and put the 8 groups, group 1, group 2, group 3 in the choice circle.
Sure.
And he would spin it, and then it ended up on group 3. And he said, okay, group 3, you're next. And everybody's waiting to see if it's going to be their group or some other group.
Wow.
He just gamified the entire thing, and he said the students loved it.
Wow.
So it's very powerful, because I mean, these are just 2 things we're riffing over here, but I'm pretty sure as more people use it, they're going to surprise us with the kind of things. I want to close out with where we're taking the choice circle, and I think you will love this, right?
Okay.
So we built it out as a precursor to something a lot bigger. The next feature we're going to work on in the next quarter is something called Winning Wheel.
A winning wheel? Okay.
Winning Wheel. And what the Winning Wheel does is, since we're tracking the chat, we know everybody who's put a comment in the chat, right?
Oh.
So if you put a comment in the chat, your name gets put into the wheel, and the wheel is spun. And then everybody who's actually participated, their names are on the wheel, it spins, and it ends with Joe. And we say, okay, Joe gets some swag because he's participated. So there is an incentive for participating. You can also say, we're only going to spin the folks who asked a question, because guess what? We can identify who's asked a question. So you can say, if you ask a question, you're going to spin your name, and one of the question askers gets something for them. But that's going to be really powerful, because it's tracking, pulling the names. That's the next avatar of Choice Circle, Winning Wheel.
Wow. So as we kind of close, and I want to share, and I sincerely want to share this with you. I've taught grad school for probably 15 years, but I've taught for maybe 26 years. I've always been in a teacher capacity. I've always been teaching and sharing from ages 7 to 70. I'm always teaching, sharing, whether it's finance, whether it's marketing, so I'm always teaching and presenting. This is why I fell in love with this tool, because it helps you, it breathes oxygen into the class, to the session. When you just shared this winning wheel with me, I got excited, because that's the way students are. They want to be engaged. They want to be taken on a journey. They want to be involved. But if you just show up there, he says, okay, class, open your pages to page 2. There are instructors like that. And my students would tell me, say, man, you're not like Mr. Davis, man. You always bring in different action and different juice to the class. That's why I'm so excited about the tool. So listen, I like to thank you for coming on the Digital Growth Hacks Club. I want to ask you, give our marketers, our entrepreneurs out there, give them some words of encouragement or some words of wisdom, or one of the things you learned on your serial entrepreneur journey that can help them as we kind of close out this session. First of all, is there anything else you want to share about StreamAlive? And then I want to give you that opportunity. Is there anything else about StreamAlive you want to share? Something I missed, or something I don't know?
Just very, very broadly on StreamAlive, since you mentioned you've been presenting for so many years to so many different audiences, right?
Yes.
Just wanted to riff something off that. There's a gentleman called Robert Gaskins, who invented something 38 years ago, and that was something called PowerPoint. right?
Mm-hmm.
So he created PowerPoint, and very side fun fact: PowerPoint was Apple's first VC investment and acquired by Microsoft. So Apple's first investment was actually acquired by Microsoft, and that was PowerPoint, right?
Oh,
If you
wait.
think about it,
So Apple created PowerPoint first, and then Microsoft purchased it. Is that what you said?
so PowerPoint was an independent company, and
Independent. Okay.
Apple invested in that company, and then Microsoft acquired that company.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
That's crazy stuff, yeah.
That is good.
But the interesting thing, Jenny, if you think about it, is for 38 years, presenters have been talking to audiences. It's been a one-way conversation. Right? They put up slides and they talk to people. What we are trying to do is fundamentally change that paradigm, saying you should talk less and listen more. So when we say slides and interactions, what we're getting at really is I talk, I listen, I listen, I talk, I listen, I talk, I listen. Because otherwise it's talk with slides. So I think we're changing something very fundamental in terms of how people communicate to make it a two-way conversation in large groups. It's easy to have a two-way conversation one-to-one, but when you have one-to-many, it's difficult, and that's what we're trying to change over here. So I'm pretty excited about how we can change how people communicate and become a lot more inclusive in their communication, because I think it's much needed from a StreamAlive perspective. And by the way, I'm going to borrow the expression you used, which is bring oxygen into the room. I think it's a very powerful analogy.
You like that, huh? You like that.
Thank you.
No, yeah. So no, I've learned a lot. This is going to be one of my power tools going into the 2023 year. I do have a presentation I have to do in January in a couple of weeks. And it's funny because my wife was like, do you know what you're going to do? I'm like, I don't know yet, but I'll do something. She's not even going to know. I'm not even going to tell her. She's going to come with me. She normally comes to when I have a big talk, a big presentation. This one will actually be in Silicon Valley. So I'll be out there, and I don't know, nice. People may see your tool, and you never know. So, so do you have any closing parting words for my digital marketers out there, for my entrepreneurs, for my solopreneurs? Do you have anything to share with them?
I think that I told you how StreamAlive was born from this journey of this book and just experiencing something in terms of being in the audience and being ignored, right? For all the solopreneurs, this company, my previous company, all of them were born from interactions like that, absolute accidents that I didn't see happening. I just think there's so much happening around us, and there are two kinds of people who tap into that. One is stand-up comedians who look at stuff happening around you and kind of make jokes out of it. And the second are entrepreneurs who look at stuff that are happening around you and make products and companies out of it, right? So, and I think that's pretty, and that's one of the reasons I think every entrepreneur should learn comedy as well, because it just makes you actually so much more receptive to what's happening around. I do a bit on some type, and it just makes you more observational, right? And right now, a lot of you asked me about. I mean, you were excited about transient thoughts, and I told you how that was born not from any major. I mean, it was born in the lobby of a bar in a Broadway play in Hamilton, but it was born more from customers telling us that, hey, it's breaking when I use long sentences. Now, there are two ways you can look at something like that. You can tell them, don't ask people to use long sentences. Ask them to use one words and two words, or you can say, okay, that's an opportunity. How do we embrace that and build something out of it? So we've been following that lens with every single user we've had over the last year, all our beta testers and folks. When they come back and tell us something doesn't work, we don't tell them, no, you're doing it wrong. That's how you should be doing it. We go back and say, okay, what can we do to make what they want happen, right? And that's really given us, quick questions, transient thoughts, the choice circle, everything was born from that. The winning wheel was an idea where someone said, can't you spin names there? And I said, what a brilliant idea. Absolutely, we can.
I love that.
If you just listen, there's so much out there. And I think that's, I mean, it's the philosophy of StreamAlive as well. The product is talk less, listen more. And I think that's the philosophy that every entrepreneur should embrace as well. Talk less and listen more. So it's just one word, really, listen.
So that's my motto moving into 2023, is to talk less and to listen more. Listen to my clients, listen to my prospective clients, listen to my quote unquote avatars, or soon to be customers, if you will. So listen, Lux, I'd like to thank you for even finding time in your busy schedule. As you can see, in California, it's always raining here, right? So I'm always inside creating, doing different things, but I got to tell you, folks, you're going to have to pick this tool up, because this is one of those tools. I shared with people what this tool reminds me of. It reminds me of another tool. I'm not even gonna tell you unless you read what I wrote. But this is one of those tools that when it's gone, definitely from the LTD market, you're gonna be sorry, because this tool is going to be a game changer, and they're still working on it and making it better. And it's polished, it's nice, it's neat, it's compact. You can do a lot of things with it. Like, thank you again, Lux, for joining us here on the Digital Growth Hacks Club, where we're trying to help our entrepreneurs discover new tools, discover new ways to grow their business and their bottom line. Hey, this has been Jenny Jones. You guys take care. Goodbye for now.
Thank you for joining us here on the Digital Growth Hack Club, where we help you elevate your business and your bottom line. Please do not forget to subscribe and share. And until next time, goodbye for now.